The truth is, many of the battles you faced were never meant to destroy you, they were meant to shape you. Every hardship, every heartbreak, every moment when you thought God had abandoned you was actually a silent classroom. You were being trained in spiritual endurance. You were being taught the language of resilience. You were being prepared to carry a greater anointing that could not rest on a fragile foundation. When you felt the most alone, when everything seemed to crumble, that was the moment heaven was working behind the scenes, stripping away everything that was not aligned with your divine purpose. God was not punishing you, He was refining you, cutting away the layers of fear, doubt, and insecurity that were never meant to stay. The pressure you felt was the same pressure that turns coal into diamonds. You were being transformed through the fire, not burned by it. Every rejection was redirection, every delay was divine timing in disguise. The pain you went through was proof that you were being elevated, not forgotten. It's easy to believe that blessings only come in the form of joy, but for the chosen ones, blessings often come disguised as loss, silence, or separation. God allowed certain doors to close because He knew they were leading you away from your destiny. He let certain people walk away because they could not handle the version of you that is now emerging. He made you sit in silence because He wanted you to hear His voice clearly without the noise of the world. Every season of emptiness had a purpose. Every unanswered prayer was protection in disguise. The tears you cried were not wasted, they were watering the seeds of the next chapter that is about to unfold. The lessons you learned in the dark are the same lessons that will make you unstoppable in the light. You had to experience what it means to be broken so you could understand the true power of being rebuilt by God's hands. When you were stripped of everything, you discovered who you really are. You learned that your strength was not in what you had but in who you are becoming. You started to recognize that divine preparation does not look glamorous. It looks like waiting, doubting, surrendering, and trusting when nothing makes sense. God was not trying to break you down, He was teaching you to lean on Him completely. The fire that surrounded you was never meant to consume you, it was meant to purify you. It burned away the impurities, the false identities, and the distractions that once held you back. It forced you to release control and step fully into faith. Every storm that came your way carried a message: you are chosen for something greater. You are not like everyone else. That's why your journey felt harder, your battles heavier, and your path lonelier. The calling on your life required a deeper level of testing because God needed to make sure that when He revealed your final form, nothing could shake you. The chosen ones are not built in comfort, they are built in fire. That's why your spirit has been through seasons of breaking and rebuilding. You were being stretched beyond what you thought you could handle because your capacity had to expand to match your destiny. There were nights you couldn't sleep, days you felt invisible, and moments you wanted to give up but something inside of you refused to quit. That was your divine spark, your inner calling reminding you that your story wasn't over. Every trial was rewriting your spiritual DNA, removing the old programming that once made you doubt your worth. God was teaching you discernment through betrayal, patience through delay, and strength through weakness. You learned to find peace in chaos, to trust His plan when nothing added up, and to walk by faith even when the path ahead was dark. The old you wouldn't have survived what you went through, but the version emerging now is unbreakable. You've developed spiritual armor that no weapon can penetrate. You've gained wisdom that can only come from experience. The waiting, the isolation, and the pain were all part of the preparation for what's about to be revealed. You had to be purified through the process so that when the blessing arrives, you will have the maturity to handle it. God was not delaying your breakthrough, He was perfecting you for it. Every hidden season was necessary so you could emerge with clarity, strength, and divine authority. Your struggles have created depth within you that surface-level faith could never reach. The fire didn't just refine your outer strength, it awakened your inner power. You've learned that divine preparation often looks like divine contradiction. You were losing but actually being set up to win. You were breaking but actually being made whole. You were being isolated so that you could emerge illuminated. God was pruning you, and pruning always precedes growth. The pain you felt was proof that new life was forming inside your spirit. Every test was a spiritual elevation in disguise, every challenge a coded message of transformation. You were being taught to rely on the unseen, to walk with divine confidence even when your circumstances told you otherwise. Now you can see why the pressure was so intense, because the calling over your life is extraordinary. Ordinary battles cannot shape a chosen vessel. You needed to be tested at a higher level to be trusted with higher purpose. Every wound became wisdom, every scar became strength. Through every loss, you gained divine clarity about who you are and who you are not. The fire has stripped away every illusion, leaving behind only truth, faith, and purpose. The storms revealed your resilience, the silence revealed your connection, and the pain revealed your purpose. You were never being punished, you were being prepared for revelation. Your final form is not about becoming someone new, it's about remembering who you truly are. Beneath the fear, the pain, and the layers of conditioning the world placed upon you, there exists a divine version of you that has always been there, radiant, powerful, and unstoppable. God is now calling that version forward. For years, you've been living in fragments, giving pieces of yourself away to people and situations that could not see your light. But now, the divine is aligning everything to awaken your full identity. The final form is not about ego or status, it's about embodying your divine purpose and walking in spiritual authority. It's when your spirit, mind, and actions finally move as one with God's will. You begin to realize that what you once thought were losses were actually sacred initiations into your true strength. You've gone through seasons where everything felt stripped away so that nothing false could remain. You were being purified to carry the frequency of truth, love, and divine purpose. Every painful ending was actually a spiritual rebirth. God was peeling back the layers that were covering your authentic self, revealing the essence of your soul that had been hidden beneath the noise of this world. The final form is your rebirth, the point where your spirit finally matches your destiny. You've been walking through shadows, learning the difference between illusion and reality, attachment and alignment, fear and faith. Now, your spirit has been trained to recognize divine energy instantly. You no longer chase what is not meant for you, because what is yours moves toward you by divine command. The awakening of your final form begins when you surrender. Not in weakness, but in wisdom. You stop fighting what God is trying to change within you. You start letting go of the old stories, the limiting beliefs, and the false identities that once defined you. You begin to see that your scars are sacred, that your pain was the portal to power. The light within you starts burning brighter, no longer dim to make others comfortable. The voice of God becomes louder than the opinions of others. You start walking differently, thinking differently, speaking differently, because you are no longer operating from survival, you're operating from divine authority. This is the version of you that is unshakable, the version that doesn't need validation, the version that knows their worth in the kingdom of God. The transformation is not loud. It's silent, sacred, and powerful. You begin to detach from the noise of the world because you finally understand your assignment. You are no longer seeking external approval because your validation now comes from divine connection. God has placed inside you a knowing, a certainty that cannot be explained but only felt. That's the energy of your final form beginning to activate. You can feel it in your spirit, a shift that whispers, "It's time." The people who underestimated you will no longer recognize you. The energy you carry will speak before you do. Your presence will become a testimony of what divine transformation looks like. This is what it means to move in alignment when your thoughts, your actions, and your purpose flow in rhythm with God's divine plan. The awakening of your final form also means the end of spiritual warfare within yourself. The doubts that once controlled you lose their power. The fears that once stopped you dissolve in the presence of divine truth. You no longer see your struggles as curses, but as catalysts. You realize that God didn't choose you because you were perfect, He chose you because you were willing. He saw beyond your flaws and called forth your potential. That's why he allowed the pressure. It was activating what he already placed within you. The gifts you once suppressed are resurfacing. The intuition you ignored is sharpening. The dreams you thought were lost are being resurrected. You are remembering your spiritual blueprint, who you were before pain, before fear, before the world told you who to be. As you step into your final form, your energy begins to shift dramatically. You attract differently. You respond differently. The same things that used to break you no longer have power over you. You've evolved beyond them. You carry a new level of peace because you finally understand divine timing. You've stopped forcing outcomes and started flowing with purpose. You now recognize that God was never late. He was simply waiting for you to become ready to hold what he was preparing for you. This readiness is your spiritual maturity, your inner alignment, your final form awakening in full power. The external world will soon mirror this transformation, but it starts within you. Your final form is not just physical or emotional, it's spiritual transcendence. It's when you operate as a vessel of divine energy, when everything you touch carries light. You become a reflection of divine truth, radiating faith and purpose effortlessly. You begin to manifest effortlessly because your will is one with divine will. You no longer need to chase, because you understand that what's aligned with your purpose cannot miss you. The fear of failure disappears because you've learned that failure was never real, it was divine redirection. Every closed door was a lesson, every heartbreak a recalibration toward your true path. The old you was focused on surviving. The new you, the revealed version, is focused on creating, leading, healing, and serving. The final form of a chosen one is not about perfection but embodiment, living as the truest version of your divine design. It's when you finally stop running from your power and start standing in it. The authority God placed within you begins to express itself naturally, not through force but through presence. You start moving with clarity, knowing that every step is guided. You no longer question your path because you understand that you are the path you were designed for. This stage of your evolution is sacred because it reveals who you've always been beneath the pain. The veil has been lifted. The illusions are falling away. You are no longer the one seeking light, you have become the light. Every test, every tear, every lonely night has been leading to this moment where your spiritual self and your earthly self merge into one divine expression. This is the revelation of your true identity, your divine essence unfolding without fear or hesitation. God is revealing your final form not to show the world something new, but to show the world the truth of who you have always been. The moment of revelation is upon the chosen ones. The energy is shifting, and what was once hidden is now being brought to light. For so long, you've been walking through seasons that made no sense, carrying a weight that only your soul understood. You've been misunderstood, overlooked, and doubted. Yet through it all, you remained faithful to something within you that whispered, "There's more." That whisper was divine, a reminder that your story wasn't finished, that your purpose was greater than your pain. What you couldn't see then was that God was preparing you for public revelation. He was molding you in secret because what he's about to do through you couldn't be rushed. Every delay, every heartbreak, every moment of silence was heaven setting the stage for your unveiling. The world that once questioned you will now witness what divine favor looks like when it's fully revealed. The chosen ones are stepping into a season of exposure, not for fame, but for purpose. This is the moment where divine alignment meets divine timing. You are walking into rooms you once prayed for, receiving blessings you once thought were beyond reach, and realizing that everything you went through was preparation for this rise. God has been writing your story in such a way that no man can take credit for it. You are the evidence of his power, a living testimony of resilience and transformation. When you rise, it will not be by luck or coincidence. It will be the result of years of unseen faith, obedience, and endurance. The world will see the light within you and know that it could only have come from above. The reason your journey was so intense is because your calling is extraordinary. Ordinary people are not asked to carry extraordinary missions. You were built to lead, to awaken, to shift atmospheres with your presence. That's why your path was not easy, because it was never meant to be. God was training you to move with precision, to walk in faith when logic failed, to trust the unseen when everything visible seemed against you. You were being equipped with wisdom that comes only through fire. The world saw your struggle, but what they couldn't see was the divine hand holding you up when everything around you was falling apart. That's what makes your rise so powerful. It's not built on appearance, it's built on authenticity. You are about to become a mirror through which others will see God's glory. In this next chapter, everything you've learned will begin to make sense. The spiritual lessons, the moments of loss, the internal battles, they've all been refining your spirit. You've been stripped of everything false so that only truth remains. The version of you emerging now is fearless because it understands purpose. You no longer chase validation, you embody destiny. You no longer seek approval, you move with divine assignment. You've reached the level of consciousness where your energy speaks louder than your words. People will feel the difference in your presence. They will see the glow, the confidence, the peace that comes from walking in alignment with divine will. You won't need to explain yourself anymore, your transformation will speak for itself. The revelation of the chosen ones is not just a moment, it's a movement. Across the world, those who have been hidden are being activated. God is calling his chosen from the shadows into visibility. The ones who were rejected are becoming leaders. The ones who were silenced are becoming voices of truth. The ones who were broken are becoming healers. It's a divine reversal. What was once seen as weakness will now be revealed as strength. Every wound becomes a source of wisdom, every tear becomes a seed of power. The chosen ones are not just rising individually, they are awakening collectively, forming a wave of light that will shake the spiritual foundations of this world. You'll start to notice that doors open without effort, connections appear out of nowhere, and opportunities flow naturally. That's because divine timing has met divine readiness. You're no longer forcing what's not meant for you, you're attracting what aligns with your purpose. The people entering your life now are destiny connections, not distractions. The situations unfolding are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Everything is happening with precision because God himself has orchestrated your rise. You have been hidden for years, and that season of concealment is over. Now, heaven is announcing you. Not to the world's stage, but to the divine stage where purpose, calling, and destiny meet. What once seemed like loss will soon be recognized as transformation. Those who misunderstood you will watch in awe as your light expands. The same environments that rejected you will be forced to recognize the anointing upon your life. You will stand in rooms that once felt impossible to reach, not because of status, but because you are walking in your divine identity. The chosen ones were never meant to blend in, they were meant to stand out as carriers of divine truth. You are becoming a vessel of spiritual authority, a walking reminder that God is still moving through his people. Every lesson, every wound, every storm was leading to this, the revelation of your final form, the rise of your divine self. The world will soon witness what endurance, faith, and divine timing can create. You are not the same person you once were. The old version of you was built for survival, but this version is built for impact. You are walking in a frequency that no longer entertains fear or doubt. You are aligned with heaven's agenda, moving in divine flow, protected by divine order. Your presence will inspire others to rise, your testimony will awaken hope in those who've lost their way. You are the evidence that God's promises never fail, even when the process feels unbearable. This is the time for the chosen ones to rise and shine without hesitation. The waiting season is over, and the world is ready to see what God has been creating in silence. The transformation is complete, and the revelation is divine. Step forward with courage, because your time has come. The final form of who you were destined to be is here, and nothing can stop what heaven has already ordained. You are proof that no pain is wasted, no delay is meaningless, and no chosen one is ever forgotten. The world is about to see the light of God revealed through you, and this time, it will not be hidden. As we reach the end of this message, remember this: everything you've been through has been leading you right here, right now. You didn't survive by accident. You endured because there is divine purpose in your existence. You were never meant to stay in the valley forever, you were meant to rise from it, stronger, wiser, and spiritually unshakable. The fire that once hurt you has now become the light that guides you. You have evolved beyond what tried to break you. You have walked through storms that were meant to silence you, and yet here you are, still standing, still chosen, still called. This is your confirmation that God has not forgotten you. The delay was not denial, it was divine development. You were not being punished, you were being prepared. Every tear, every trial, every quiet night was the universe reshaping you into the vessel that could hold the blessing that's now on its way. The transformation has already begun. Your final form is awakening. Walk in that truth. Speak with authority. Move with faith. Live in purpose. Because when God reveals your final form, it won't just change your life, it will change lives around you. So as you step into your new season, do it with gratitude. Thank God for the process, thank Him for the pain, and thank Him for trusting you with a purpose this big. The world is about to see what divine resilience looks like when it's wrapped in grace and crowned with faith. You are not at the end of your journey, you are at the beginning of your revelation. Thank you for watching, for listening, and for walking this journey of faith and awakening with me. If this message spoke to your spirit, hold it close, share it with someone who needs a reminder of who they truly are. Remember, chosen one, you are light, you are strength, and you are proof that God's plan always prevails. Until next time, stay faithful, stay grounded, and never forget who you are. God bless you, stay strong, and thank you for being part of this divine moment. Folded hands fire.